Weights and Downer. You or someone you know has lost the ability to earn a living because someone put the company interest before their well-being. In times like these, there's one firm who has handled hundreds of catastrophic and lost earning cases. Before you settle fast with a company's attorney, give Weights and Downer a call. 985-876-0870. Weights and Downer. Let us fight for your rights.
All right, welcome back, and we continue with Bayou time, and of course we have the first lieutenant for the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department, Blake Tabor. Good to see you, First Lieutenant.
Thank you for having me, Martin, as always.
All right, a couple of events. How about if we start off? Y'all had a high-speed chase, I guess, right?
Absolutely. So last Wednesday night, this kind of garnered a lot of interest because as we're standing outside, you could hear a lot of sirens and lights going on down Park Avenue and down Main Street. So it drew a lot of interest. So in this particular case, on October 9th, we got called to the 100 block of Owls Trailer Park in reference to a domestic violence incident. Now, again, several days before the 9th, we also responded to another situation at that same house where a David Lee Taylor, 34-year-old male, from Schriever, you see him photographed here, was the suspect in a domestic violence case along with the victim at that particular address. So again, some warrants were filed for his arrest in connection with that particular case. The second call on October 9th was him returning back to the residence where he was not supposed to return, of course. So as officers arrived at Owl's Trailer Park, they sure see David Taylor's vehicle, or a vehicle known to be linked to him, removed from the address. And as they try to make contact with him, he steps on the gas and they are off and running. Of course, we pursued that particular vehicle because of the nature of the complaint. He led us throughout several neighborhoods, throughout Houma, Schriever, Gray area, ultimately driving right back into Owl's Trailer Park where he was taken into custody and removed from the vehicle.
Ended where he started.
Ended where he started. So he was quickly taken into custody and he was charged with a multitude of charges, obviously some of the arrest warrants, and also aggravated flight from a police officer, criminal damage to property, and also the outstanding warrants, as I said previously. And he's currently still in jail on a $275,000 bond.
Mm-hmm. Why would they start in one place and end up in the same place?
You never know why people do the things they do, Martin. We just respond, and we're sometimes as puzzled as everybody else.
We used to see that on the beat a lot, especially when you rode and others rode it. Sometimes we get back in the car and go, why did they do that? But
I think it's about going back to some place that they know.
Yeah.
And we see that quite a bit.
And they think everybody else will go away.
Absolutely.
Know? All right, let's talk about the next one. Y'all had a drive-by shooting incident.
We did. So, again, on October 9th, shortly after 10:30 in the morning, which, again, pretty early in the day, not typical of having gunfire ring out in a neighborhood, but we were called to the area of Kirkland Loop in the Village East subdivision after some information surfaced about a shooting that was taking place on that at that time. When deputies arrived, they began to get some preliminary information from witnesses that were on scene that identified a tan-colored SUV as being involved or responsible for this particular shooting. So again, as we always do with these types of shootings, we begin to go through our investigational resources that we have available to us in certain neighborhoods, and lo and behold, that linked us to a particular vehicle that matched the description of that SUV that was seen by witnesses. That particular vehicle was linked to an address in the 300 block of Hobson Street. And again, our Violent Crimes Division, along with our Patrol Division, became quickly involved, as they always do anytime we have these types of cases. So when they responded to the 300 block of Hobson, they encountered the registered owner of that particular vehicle and also two other males who were inside of the home, who were identified as a Lance Harold Jr. and a Noel Navarro Jr. You see them photographed here. So again, once the investigation started taking off from that point, again, the inconsistencies were noted, and Noel and Lance were taken in for questioning. Once they were at our investigative division, both admitted to being inside of the vehicle at the time of the shooting, although they would not admit to being responsible for firing a weapon or in possession of one, and they certainly did not admit to knowing the suspect who fired upon them. So again, as those investigations kind of begin to surface, a search warrant was done of the house on Hobson Street. A search warrant was also done on the vehicle. Once they were inside of the vehicle, they located a large amount of evidence inside the vehicle, which was not consistent with the information that those two particular suspects were given. So ultimately, that led to the arrest of Lance Jamal Harold Jr. and Noel Malik Navarro Jr. for charges of aggravated assault by drive-by shooting. And I'm proud to say that both of them are currently incarcerated still at our jail on a $100,000 bond by local judges.
They look young enough to me, for sure.
They are very young.
Is this something that y'all still deal with, that they won't give up? You said they wouldn't, I guess in their term, rat out somebody. Do you still see a lot of that?
We do, unfortunately. We believe that when we deal with certain types of cases, we have to earn everything that we find out, right? We have to make sure that we're on our toes and we're dotting I's and crossing the T's, so to speak. But yeah, we find a lot of reluctance to give up information when it comes to identifying certain perpetrators. And that could be for a multitude of reasons, as you can imagine. But yes, we certainly see that pretty frequently.
I guess in a drive-by, they could be worried that they'll be hit if they give up names.
Could be.
You just don't know, I guess.
Could be a multitude of things.
Yeah.
And it could be something as simple as giving up information could lead to the discovery of them being a suspect in another case.
That's a good point. It really is,
so.
yeah. All right, well, we appreciate you always coming on and keeping us up to speed, and tell our good sheriff hello for us.
I certainly will, Martin. Thank you for having me.
All right, once again, Blake Tabor, the first lieutenant with the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department. Don't forget, catch us on your apps, catch us on Facebook, on YouTube. We're reaching a lot more people than just on the air, so plug us in any way you know how. We'll take a break. We'll come back a lot more. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.